Hey guys, Creator Mom. So I want to talk about this idea of radical self-trust. Wow, right? I think if anything, throughout life, we're taught that we can't trust ourselves, that we make mistakes. How can you really trust yourself? Like you don't know what you're doing. Anyways, I've come to a major realization that trusting myself is the most fucking important thing in the world. Trusting myself is trusting God, because God and I are one. There is no separation. As long as we keep that separation in our mind, then forget it. We're always performing and serving for some outside person who thinks that we should be doing this. It's like we'll stay in this stupid place of like, oh, I should be, and I'm not. Instead of being in the place of I am that I am. Period. I trust myself. I fully and totally 100% commit to myself. I commit to trusting myself. I commit to following my intuition. I commit to cutting off any type of behavior which disregards how I feel about something or what I'm sensing about something. These are all our natural senses that we're supposed to have intact. I was reading this kid's story, and it was about this raccoon who had to go to school. But his mother was like, sweetie, we all have to do things we don't want to do. He said school made him felt strange. There was another word too, I forget now. It felt strange and like wrong to him, essentially, you know? He wanted to be home with his mother. He wanted to read his books. He wanted to play with his friends. He wanted to play with his own toys. He wanted to learn, through his desire. He was picking up that I don't want to be there. Like, that's strange. But we're taught, no, you can't listen to what you want to do because what you want to do is wrong. You can't trust yourself because your heart is desperately wicked. So we receive these messages from the world, and we receive these messages from spiritual sources as well, that you can't trust yourself. You're desperately wicked, dude. So you're desperately wicked, but then God lives in you. But then how do you fucking decipher? So then people sit there confused their whole fucking life, thinking, oh, I can't trust myself. I'm desperately wicked, but God lives in me. How the fuck do I know what God's voice is and what my voice is? And then they go crazy. You know what I'm saying? You and God are one, right? Ye are gods. You're one. Tune in to yourself. Commit to trusting yourself, because that's where God is. Follow yourself. Pick up your cross and follow yourself. Follow me. Follow yourself. Same damn thing. If you are one spirit with the Lord, that means one spirit. That means there's not two separate people, two separate like personalities or whatever. Of course we have that like divine, we're the like God man, right? Like divinity and humanity. And we feel our humanity. When we get cut, we bleed. You know what I'm saying? If we're in a crisis situation, we feel it, of course. But we're able to, like I talked about this in another video, we're able to observe that. We can feel it, but we don't have to succumb to it. There's another scripture that's coming to me now too, where we're pressed down or whatever. Shit, now I'm forgetting the scripture. I should read my Bible. But if I sit here and think about it, it would probably come to me. It's just right on the tip of my tongue. But it talks about like we can be stricken down, da-da-da. Anyways, the point is like we don't have to succumb to it. We could still choose. I decide. So you can decide that you're going to just trust yourself. Be committed to yourself. You are God anyway. I know that's really offensive. I'm like a heretic now. But you're one with God. You are God. Whatever. Isn't it like the same difference? You're literally, if you're one spirit with the Lord and you're blended together, you don't know where he starts and where and you end and yada yada. You got to follow. He's in you, your intuition. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows this. Everybody has it. you know, yeah, like everybody has that seed. So I grew up watching my mother have like several boyfriends and stuff who she would always try to change, like, you know, it was just, that's what I grew up seeing. Like everything, there's always a problem. The guy was never doing good enough. They had to change this and that in order to be good enough. Da da da. And it was probably like legitimate issues like gambling. I don't know, like crazy things, right? But I think that really influenced me in some type of way. And I don't believe in changing people. I don't believe in trying to change people at all. It's actually like my pet peeve. Probably because of this experience, because I've realized that you can't control people. You can't try to change who people are. It's offensive because being and living is like a gift. It's like, you can create or you can have whatever story you want to have. It belongs to you. And for somebody to come and like say, oh, well, you need to change that. Well, no, I think that what needs to happen is if you're not, like, I think that you can communicate with people about what you're not happy with in the relationship. But I think to say that somebody has to change in order to be with you, I think you just have to accept people for who they are. And then if you don't like who they are, if you don't like that person is a gambler, that he is assuming the state of a gambler or whatever the person is, you know what I mean? Whatever state that they are holding in the moment, they're not going to change that until they realize they want to switch states, that they realize they want a different story for their life. And that comes from internally. If you try to change and push someone to change from the outside, it is going to be a false change. It will not be genuine. The person will continue to fail and fail and fail. This is why people who are in like addictions and things like that have to go to the end of the road. They got to go to the end of the rope. They have to. Because they have to be sick and tired. We have to get sick and tired of whatever state it is that we're currently occupying to be like, you know what? I'm sick of this state. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to switch states now. And boom. This is when people have like miracles and shit. They have like miracle recoveries, where they get delivered, if you will, from like drug and alcohol. Why? Because they were ready. Their heart was ripened. It takes time. And, if you're trying to change somebody who's in an addiction or who's a gambler, you might as well just leave. It's just like either accept them for who they are or just peace out, leave, choose yourself over that person. Because that person is choosing whatever it is they're choosing, Because like she would go through these situations where like, say the person will quit gambling. Like, I'm going to change. I promise I'm going to change. And then maybe for a little bit, things are fine because what they're doing is they're suppressing. And guess what? Boom. It's gonna, they never change their state. They just change their outer behavior to please someone else. Pleasing an outside person, pleasing an outside God. And the changes were never truly internal, so it's not going to be permanent, So people have to decide for themselves when they want to switch states.